we have a Deadpool 3 trailer and we have a Deadpool 3 title, right? So Deadpool 3 is going to be titled Deadpool and Wolverine, at least for right now, right? Will changes be made? Who knows before release date, July 26th. We have Jax on, our MCU correspondent. Very happy you could join us, Jackson. I got one question for you. Will Deadpool be Marvel Jesus and save the MCU from their recent sins? What do you got, Jax?
150%, gentlemen, we are back.
If I had $1 for every time you said this, Jax.
Yeah. So back.
Okay. So we're back. Ricky Flex, do you think that Deadpool is going to be able to save Marvel from their recent sins? Is he going to be the one to get this train back on the tracks?
I think so. I think the trains are going to get back on the tracks. Will they be going 1,000 miles per hour? Maybe not. But yeah, this looks like this has the chance to get us back in the right direction. And we'll jump into some of the Easter eggs and things that it's alluding to in the future of the MCU within this trailer. And my excitement for it, the MCU, like in the future, not just this movie, from this trailer. So it's really exciting stuff here to talk about.
Yeah, we got some cameos, some people from the past X-Men universe, from Bryan Singer's universe, from Fox. We have the Fox crumbling statue or logo that we saw from the set photos that were unofficially taken. Before we get into like the Marvel comic book and like Easter egg of it all, I want to talk about the tone of this trailer and a huge question mark for Deadpool 3, and it's his incorporation into the MCU. Are we going to keep that R-rated feel? Are we going to keep that raunchiness that made the first two so successful and so unique from all other superhero projects? I want to get your guys' impressions on, was this movie successful in keeping what we know about Deadpool and still introducing, right, him into this Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? Jax, what do you think about the raunchiness in this trailer?
I love it, right? I mean, because, right, like that's what Deadpool is. That's what we've seen in Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, and we get that scene in the beginning where the TVA comes to the door. They have their pruning sticks, and Deadpool says what he says, where he's just like, "Hey, I'm used to this, friendo, but Disney isn't." Like, that's what you want, right? You want it to be that raw, funny, just like completely unhinged feeling, and I feel like that's where we're going to with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, Flex, what do you think?
Completely agree. Yeah, we're like that. We're back. We're so back. The fact that we even thought about that this wasn't going to be the case is ridiculous, because no doubt they're not going to change something that's, quote unquote perfect, something that works, right? They know it works. They're going to keep doing it because they're desperate, right? And again, Sean Levy here on like behind the camera here, he doesn't want to change anything either. This is his first time directing a Deadpool movie. He doesn't want to change anything. He wants to keep this momentum going with this franchise, especially with the inception into Disney, or initiation into Disney. So yes, I guess maybe there was some hesitancy there, but at the end of the day, no hesitancy anymore. Like, there's not even a percentage chance that this is not going to be raunchy as hell. Love to see that in the trailer here.
Yeah, so to be honest, boys, this trailer kicked ass. Like, it's pretty freaking awesome, right? And if I was Deadpool going into the MCU, I wouldn't use frickin', right? That pegging line at the beginning, I'm just like, damn, like they're sending a message with that being the first line to the TVA, like a Marvel entity during the multiverse saga that's been introduced. Like him dropping an F-bomb in an official Marvel trailer. I was like, damn, like they aren't hiding away from this. Sean Levy, mostly known for directing like PG-13 or even kids type of projects, right? Laying it all out there. And you could tell Ryan Reynolds, he's like, I'm not going to half-ass this, right? He does so many projects where it seems like he's just being Ryan Reynolds, right? But Deadpool, he turns it up a notch, right? That's the character he's most comfortable working with. It has the most passion for. And I think it really shined through in the trailer. Before we get into anything else with the cameos and Easter eggs, the title. We got Deadpool and Wolverine. Guys, we didn't really get Wolverine in this trailer, right? We see Logan, we think from the back, maybe at a poker table. Could be someone else. Who knows? I could see a little misdirection here. I could see misdirection a couple places in this trailer. But then we have the final shot with Could you give me a hand? Deadpool says, and you got the overlooming shadow and the claws coming out from Logan. Guys, what do you think about this title? And were you disappointed by the screen time from Logan here? Let's start off with you, Jax.
Love the title. I think the title's great, right? Because I saw at one point they trademarked a couple of entities. It was like Deadpool and Friends, just Deadpool 3. I think Deadpool and Wolverine is perfect, right? Because you're going to get that audience, and from a business standpoint, right, you're going to get that audience that has been clamoring to see X-Men in the MCU again. And to have it be Deadpool and Wolverine, I think that's phenomenal. I think it shows also that he's going to be a huge part of this movie, which we loved Hugh Jackman. I'm a big Wolverine guy. And then, right, I think it was the right play to tease Wolverine a little bit in this trailer, right? Because we're going to get 20 more trailers. I think at this point, it was right to tease him, to show him at the end with the claws, with the shadow. I think it was perfect. I was very pleased with it.
So you like the tease and you don't like the reveal. I would only say that's why it should have been Deadpool and Friend. I think that title would have worked better than Wolverine, because I don't think this Wolverine is the Wolverine we're going to be getting in the MCU in the future, maybe for Secret Wars, but like he's not the Wolverine, I think, for the future of the MCU. And if you have him in the title, people are going to be like, oh, how much more are we going to get? If it's Deadpool and Friend, you're really sending the message Deadpool is kind of a huge part of the future of the MCU. Meanwhile, right, Friend is saying like, hey, you're just a sidekick for this one. You're in it for this one movie, maybe Secret Wars. If you say and Wolverine, I think it's setting an expectation. Like, first off, he's gonna have a major role in this movie. It's gonna be more of a buddy movie, And then if it's gonna be that, why don't you show him in the first trailer? All right. So you're still teasing him. I get it. You want to save that yellow suit. You want to save that mask. You want to save all the juice that Hugh Jackman has. Even Hugh Jackman was having fun online where he switched the title. It said Wolverine and asshole or something like that. Right. So like he is all in on this too. But I think Wolverine and Friend would have been like so Deadpool. It just would have been like, yeah, I've spent my first two movies kind of like sucking this guy off and saying I love this guy, but guess what? This is my movie, and I'm inviting you into it. You know what I mean?
It's just too big of a character to do that. I think they didn't have the balls to do it. They couldn't.
Branding, it's so big if you have and Wolverine.
Yeah. But like also, I just want to say, I totally agree with the teasing. We have 5 months of this hype train. All right, this is only the start,
and we've all seen them.
Yeah, like come on, like we have 5 months to do this. I honestly think the more interesting and surprising nature was we got the potential alter ego here. That's the more like, whoa, did not see that tease coming. Like Jack's MCU correspondent, you could help me here maybe. Madripoor, that's probably where they are, right? His alter ego, like the white suit. Logan from the back there at the poker table or whatever, probably in that white suit. That's probably Logan. And like Patch, like his like alter ego when he goes to Madripoor, like a frequent X-Men spot in the comics that he would have an alter ego. And we saw that spot introduced in the MCU already, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So we already have some sort of a, like, very little, but we have something, to hold on to there of us knowing it. So yeah, like I think that's the part where I'm like, whoa, did not see that coming. I'm just expecting the yellow suit.
Do you think the yellow suit Wolverine might be from the same world as Charles Xavier from Multiverse of Madness potentially, Jax? Anything cross your mind there with the yellow wheelchair?
I think it could be, right. I think right, like that X-Men 97 universe where they brought
Beast.
Exactly, right. I think that's probably where they're leaning towards, to kind of have it all be in one singular universe, which would make sense, right? But yeah, I definitely think like one thing also is like with that new show coming out, the new animated X-Men series
this year,
could it also be from that universe, right? In just a live action form.
Timing is pretty coincidental, right? Pretty serendipitous. I would not be totally shocked, because we saw with What If that surprisingly had more connections to the live action MCU, or at least references than we were expecting. You know, we can get the same thing with the X-Men 97 series. That's very, very, very good. Very good prediction from you, Jax. Moving on and just talking about the Marvel lore and talking about locales, like there's some pretty interesting settings from this trailer. Like we're talking the TVA. We're going back to the TVA. We just got finished with Loki season 2. We're getting right a new. I don't know if he's the head of the TVA or a part of a certain agency within the TVA. Our boy Matthew McFadden, Tom Wamsgans playing this character known as Paradox. Sounds pretty freaking villainous, you know, honestly. And then we're going to locales that we see at the beginning of Avengers: Age of Ultron when they go see Baron von Stryker. It's when they have Quicksilver first introduced, and there's rumors swirling. You think that location, you think Wanda Maximoff, and you think Quicksilver, and you think, oh, what is the X-Men connection here? Magneto's children in the comic book lore, right? Why is Deadpool here? Are we gonna see major cameos aside from the one we see in the trailer, which we will get to? And then we obviously have like the Fox logo that's been crashed down, the TVA shooting all around there. Jax, which setting were you like, oh man, really got your juices flowing?
The 20th Century Fox logo, that is literally, in my opinion, that's chef's kiss, right? Like that's what Deadpool is about. Break that fourth wall, knock it down.
Mm-hmm.
That is phenomenal, in my opinion, right? And I think we've seen that, and I'm sure you guys have seen it as well, like on Twitter and stuff. There's a bunch of posts about that, but I think that is so perfect, right? Like we got all of the properties. We got Fantastic Four, Deadpool, X-Men, all of that back from 20th Century Fox. Like, knock it down. Let's address it, right? Like, and Deadpool is gonna, in a cool way, in a funny way, I'm sure he's gonna address that. Obviously with the logo in the background. So I thought that was fantastic.
I did, Ricky, before you hop in here, I was thinking about like the studio mentions in this movie and the meta-ness. And it went from, hey, this is going to be a movie that is going to clown 20th Century Fox into, hey, there's some meta-ness with like Deadpool saying, I'm going to be the Messiah for the MCU. I am Marvel Jesus, because that's kind of referential to the idea that these movies have been underperforming. These projects have been underperforming, right? I'm going to save you guys. I know you guys suck right now, right? And I'm going to make you not suck, right? I'm not going to be as lame as all these other projects you have been doing. And there is some of those undertones, which I love. And I think fans are going to appreciate, and they're going to be like, this is why like Deadpool is going to be a great addition to this universe, right? He'll still keep it fresh and he's still going to keep it real. You know, you're not going to get that with any other character. So I think the timing of this is pretty goddamn awesome. You know, in this like almost like it seems like we're at the bottom, like our stock is bottoming out right now, right? And he's about to like basically, I'm going to come in, I'm going to recognize these issues, right? And we're going to set the record straight. You know what I'm saying, Flex?
Yeah, completely agree. I think that was also completely shocking out of this trailer where, yes, Deadpool, like they're gonna, and we've seen the Twitter images of the 20th Century Fox logo. They knew they were gonna address that, right? And rightly so. But the fact that they bring up how bad that what MCU is doing in this trailer is crazy to me. Like Marvel admittingly saying in front of the biggest audience in the world, the Super Bowl, yeah, we're struggling right now, and we need Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman to save us. That was shocking, and I just did not see like Disney like having like I don't know like the like being willing to do that. You know, I thought they were more arrogant. They're more arrogant than that.
The chimichangas.
It's honestly like good for them. Good humility in that.
That's why you love Deadpool, though, man. Like address it. Just we all know it, we all feel it, we all see it. Like that's why Deadpool is so fantastic for, especially in the situation that we're in. Like, don't shy away from it. Like you have the character to break that fourth wall, talk with the audience, whatever. Like, bring it up. Like, let's get weird, let's get crazy. Like, just go for it. And I love that. That's why I think again, this movie is going to be phenomenal.
You have the ability to acknowledge what's happening, like when the thoughts of the audience that you don't have with any other show. Right? You could break the wall and talk to the camera with another character, but you don't have that like character, that history built in with the Deadpool character with all these other ones. Like it can only work here. But it makes me question after Deadpool 3, right? This movie can get the MCU back on track, but he's not going to be someone you could center your universe around, right? He's going to be the guy that after you have Deadpool 3 and then we continue with the multiverse, and if we have Fantastic Four hit and we have whatever the Kang Dynasty is hits, and then Secret Wars, he'll be the guy who comes back in Deadpool 4 and being like, this wouldn't have happened without me. Like, that's the type of character he is. He's not someone you build around. It's someone to come in and just remind you, like, I am important. I'm not the main guy, but it's really contingent from for me in the multiverse saga from here on out.
Yeah, and you're right, but again, like I said off the top, some of these Easter eggs are massive, like as in like changing the MCU, and I think this movie is going to do that. And like we can talk about it now if we want. Like,
yeah, let's go for it because I know we had
the Secret Wars #5 is comic is literally just sitting right there.
Yeah.
All right,
like,
tell me more, please.
Like Jax, expand on my thoughts here. But this comic, 2015 comic, is basically the comic where like Doctor Doom's like, I'm here, and basically is saying like, oh, like this mashed up timeline or whatever. That's this comic, basically laying it all out there. So what is Deadpool and Wolverine kind of signaling here? Is it, oh, all right, so Doctor Doom could somehow be a part of this movie? I think that's a little bit of a stretch. Or it's going to lead into the Fantastic Four movie. This movie is massive, not just on like bringing the MCU back into like, oh, we can make good movies again, and you know we could go out of our comfort zone and not be so Disney, right? But it's also like, holy crap, this is massive for the MCU, even though it's not a massive A-list superhero from our comic lore, like I don't know, a Spider-Man or a Fantastic Four, or Marvel's first family. It's Deadpool saying, oh my God, here's your next big bad.
I will say, we've said this before, multiverse movie. How is it going to tie into the future? How many times have we been let down? We're like multiverse of madness, right? How is it going to lead into the future? Loki season 2 recently, right? What's it going to do with Kang? And it seems like that actually slowed down momentum, especially with what's happening with Jonathan Majors and everything. How many times have we said with these multiverse projects, what will it lead to? And it's been nilch. It's been kaput. It's been nothing, right? We'll see with the Marvels, which obviously movie sucked. But that post-credit scene seems like that could tie into Deadpool 3. But what could Deadpool 3 tie into? Hopefully something bigger. But I don't want to promise anything. The only like appearance we know for sure that we got here, right, from a character that we know, Pyro, Bryan Singer's universe, X2, and X-Men: The Last Stand. When I saw that Pyro was in this movie, I didn't know him at first until I watched the trailer with captions and it said who's speaking and it said Pyro. I'm like, holy shit, he looks so different from 2004 2006. You know, he's aged 2 decades. And when I looked at it and I saw his name and I thought like, okay, who would I imagine from Bryan Singer's universe would be in a Deadpool 3? And I just imagine like Usual Suspects, them lining up, right? All these bad guys, people that work for Magneto, who would be a great guy to put in Deadpool 3? I think Pyro's a pretty genius like pick, to be honest. He is not very well liked. He's not very well known, right? And if you bring him back, it's like how you Joe Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead aren't the hugest names, but you could still fit them into a Deadpool movie and make them feel good. You can kind of resurge this guy's career a little bit. Andrew Stanford, his name might be. I might have to look it up. Someone else might. Rick, you have that?
I think that's correct.
But he's a guy who probably hasn't been doing much, right? But everyone knows you're Pyro. You were the asshole in X2 and X3, you know? And if we bring you back for Deadpool 3, it's going to be like you're surrounded by a bunch of assholes, you know? So for some reason, that character pick is kind of better than anyone they could have chose from those universes, you know? And it's not a huge reveal out of all the characters you're probably going to see in this movie. So I loved it. What do you think of it, Jax?
Genius, right? Like exactly what you said. He's not Jean Grey. He's not Professor X. Like you tease a little something from this universe, right? Because there's no doubt in my mind we're going to see probably, right, like your usual suspects. We're going to see Storm. We're going to see Professor X. We're going to see Jean Grey. We're going to see Cyclops. All these people. but you tease that little part of it in Pyro where he's not a huge household name. And a lot of people are going to be like, oh, wait, what else is there going to be? Which is going to be really great. And I wanted to touch on what you had said, where it's like, we're waiting, right? Like, what is going to bring us to this big multiverse? And what are we like, when are we finally going to see like all of these different universes and like things collapsing on each other? Like, we're going to see these incursions. I want to put out a guarantee. Deadpool is going to be this movie. It's going to bring everything together. And we're
drawing
going
the
to
line.
Oh, this is what we've been waiting for. I think it's the perfect spot for them to do this. It makes so much sense. And if they don't do it, it's a huge miss, in my opinion. Because you have all of the makings to build out Secret Wars and to build out Battle World and all of these things that go along with it.
I was gonna say there's something inherently funny if you get like some massive like X-Men characters that show up here to like steal Ryan Reynolds' thunder. That'd just be hilarious. But I didn't. Ricky Flex looked like you're about to say something.
No, I was just gonna say it's Aaron Stanford, not
I
Andrew.
I did look
Close
it up
enough.
right after. I'm like, God damn it! I mean, but I feel like no one would know that guy's name. So
He
even if
hasn't
I
done-
screwed it up and we didn't look it up, who cares? You know?
Yeah, I know. He's did the 12 Monkeys TV show recently and the Kidia, whatever. I'm not the pronunciation guy.
You know what? It would have been that type of casting that Deadpool made. That's like okay. It's like Bobby, Iceman. You know, showing up in The Boys. You know, it's like a boys type of casting, and Deadpool, like, you know, it's just like understanding the audience, comic book audience with that type of casting. Also, new character. I want to talk about Tom Wambsgans, or AKA Paradox, Matthew McFadden here. So I assume this movie is taking place in the timeline after the events of Loki season 2. And Loki might be a little preoccupied right now holding all these timelines together, right? But with the introduction of this new TVA agent and us going back to the TVA outside of the Loki series, it really makes me wonder, guys, are we going to see maybe like a Mobius in this movie, an Owen Wilson, Ryan Reynolds, Matthew McFadden type of trio? I mean, I'd be licking my chops for that type of scene. Honestly, I know that we had a really good send off in Loki season 2 for a Mobius, but like to have Owen Wilson in an MCU film, right, and to be a Deadpool 3, it feels like a waste of his comedic talent if we don't have that. Do you think, Jackson, we might get Moby here?
I'm hoping, right? I think you bring in the TVA. I think you have to bring in Mobius. I just, even if it's a small shot, quick shot, nothing crazy, he's not an integral part of the movie, right? I feel like you have to explain what he's been doing, where he's at, like something with that. If you're gonna have the TVA, you have to have Mobius. It just doesn't make sense otherwise, in my opinion.
Honestly, the stronger choice to show up is OB, Kiwai Kwan.
That's why, like, I don't think it's gonna happen. It's like, oh, you got to show one person. Oh, but then you got to show B-15. You got to show Sylvie. You got to show Kiwei Kwan. You got to show, God, what's his name? The other guy. He played the prisoner. Whatever.
Yeah, the actor.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Casey.
The actor.
Casey.
Oh no! I was thinking a different guy. Yes, Casey.
But yeah,
Casey made a good cameo here.
I feel like Tom, you know, everyone knows him now, right? We're calling him Tom for God's sakes. He's kind of filling in that one. Like, he's a big enough name.
You know, Deadpool's gonna call him Tom in the movie.
Yeah. Yes, dude. But no, like, I love this casting, and I again, Jax, help me out here. I didn't find much. I didn't spend too much time on the research for this one, but I heard this Paradox guy. He's in a She-Hulk comic, and that not much else. Like, not really well known.
Yeah, not really well known. So Paradox, it's weird, right? Like, so there is a Marvel character named Paradox, which is kind of entangled with the Midnight Suns.
Ooh.
Now,
Don't.
exactly, right? If that's what I'm thinking, if what I'm thinking is correct, there will be a parade. because that is all I want for the Marvel Cinematic Universe at this point. But yeah, again, I'm not entirely sure because the way they're portraying him, I don't think it's the paradox that I'm thinking of, at least. But yeah, I mean, so I actually just pulled it up as well here. So like, again, kind of entangled with the Midnight Suns. It also says he goes by Strange specifically. And he began searching the world for artifacts of earthly magic and brought them back to Stephen Strange, the Strange we know. This led to conflict with the items, guardians, and other individuals looking to claim them, including Nathaniel Richards, who we know is Kang. So, could we be getting a full circle moment here? I'm not sure.
Maybe a different take on the character, or it's just a different character entirely. Who knows? But like, I just found it weird. It's a TVA agent, and
Yeah.
he's going by Paradox. Like, to me, that's a little strange. And maybe it was just the captions that were telling me that. You know, I don't even know if they referred to him actually as Paradox at all in the trailer itself. But it's Matthew McFadden. He's a pretty big actor. You know, he's won Emmys, he's won Golden Globes. Like, I would not be shocked if he ultimately becomes like one of the main antagonists or villains of this story. And that brings me to another thing, boys. Like, well, actually, I did want to say, TVA wise, there has to be some connectivity between Loki and this film. It'd be really weird if you like had the TVA and you had no one that we can recall from the series. There's got to be some carryover to make it feel like it is the same universe that Marvel's so good at, which makes you think a Casey might show up, a B-15, a Kiwi Kwan. Those definitely more likely than a Mobius.
Good point.
I forgot what else I was gonna say. God damn it.
No.
What was I saying before?
You said you wanted to say something, and you was talking about Matthew. You're talking about McFadden, and
oh yeah, we don't know where this story's going, bro. We have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, no, we still don't know anything. But we're going to talk a little bit more TVA. So we knew going into this movie, like, oh, easy to bring in the Fox properties because, oh, you could use like multiverse, like storytelling as an element to kind of bring them in easy. But this is very smart that they use the TVA because we got a confirmation that the Deadpool 2 credit scenes is canon. Yeah. So, and that's an excuse to bring in the TVA, and that's obviously the storytelling element of a multiversal story. So, very smart. This was very smart. This time, this time travel authority agency to utilize them to bring in your Deadpool and your X-Men here. That very clever. And obviously, people that don't watch Loki, number one, what are you doing? But two, it's like, all right, they could pick it up fairly easy. Like, this is pretty easy to pick up, saying you messed up the timeline. Like time traveling, you're not supposed to do that. You have to do this for us. Like, easy to pick up. So all in all, like, this was very smart, and I like it. I like the direction.
Speaking of Deadpool 2 canon, we have to bring up like Shatterstar was brought back using the Time Watch right at the end of Deadpool 2, along with Peter, freaking Rob Delaney. Peter's back. I was so happy. Right, I tweeted out a picture of Peter with a heart. I'm like, thank God he's back. He's with us still. Vanisher, who knows if he was brought back? I would say probably. Brad Pitt, not afraid of the cameos, right? Obviously, Vanisher. Then he was just in season 3 of Dave. Right now, he probably comes back as the Vanisher.
Big cameo in that.
Yeah, but like I was just thinking about other guys he didn't save. He didn't save Bill Skarsgård, you know. He didn't save Terry Crews. At least like they're not boys. They're not in the at the birthday party scene, right? But it's I just found it interesting they chose Shatterstar, you know, that's out of anyone.
And okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Number one, no Cable.
Nope.
No Cable.
I don't know.
Well, I know, but like in the trailer, he wasn't shown.
No.
Domino.
No.
Not shown here.
Who's the bald dude?
Oh, all right. Let's jump to that. So obviously, people were saying, "Oh, bald dudes in the MCU." Professor X. That's obviously what people want to, say here. But I was looking up a couple things. Some
Marvel
people are saying
dudes?
that's Cassandra Nova.
I mean,
Jax, no? Like, thoughts?
Yes. So I've actually seen that she is going to be the villain of this movie. And again, that could be whatever it could. It's speculation right now, but that is something that I have seen on Twitter, whatever it may be, that she is going to end up being the main villain of the story.
Yeah, Professor
Emma
X is,
Corrin. Emma Corrin's in this movie. No, from The Crown or something.
that would make sense. Look at us. We're
And
just connecting
everyone
dots
wants
here.
you to think. Everyone sees that bald head. You think Professor X, and that person is too young to be Professor or Charles. Sir Patrick Stewart. Great commercial.
Thank
He had
you.
the Super
Appreciate
Bowl
it,
this
sir.
year. And yeah, and I don't think it's gonna be a young. It's not James McAvoy. I don't think it's gonna be a younger version, the new version of what's it called, Professor Xavier. I think that's got to be Emma Corrin, because like she was a major casting when this happened, right? And it's kind of gone by the wayside. That must be her, bald Emma Corrin.
Baldy.
Bald.
Okay, good call, Ricky Flex. Emma Corrin. What else? Are we missing anything? Right, we talked about Pyro. We talked about potential characters that might be appearing from Loki season 2. We talked about potential for Deadpool to be Marvel Jesus. We talked about no Wolverine sighting. Anything else you want to add here, Jax? Right, from this 2-minute trailer?
Overall, gentlemen, again, we're back. I truly, in my heart of hearts, I believe that this movie is going to be the movie that it's like, okay, this is Marvel again. Like, you're going to get I think easily, right? You're going to get those box office numbers with Deadpool. It's happened the past 2 times. We're getting him back. Ryan Reynolds is huge. You bring back Hugh Jackman. I truly think, right after this, there is going to be a clear path of what they're trying to get and work towards for Secret Wars. So again, super, super excited for this movie.
Doc,
Okay.
you look like you're gonna say something.
Dude, you know what really got my juices flowing during this is the action sequences.
Yes.
Like dude, we didn't even talk about, right, the loading of the guns going to the beat of the music. That scene is going to be unreal. You have the call back to him putting the hand up with the crew around him saying, "Wait!" You know, but it's just that him locking and loading and still having like the camera like circling with him. I'm like, damn, that's like Deadpool type of like camera work that's being brought to the MCU, not like Deadpool 4, like his action sequences kind of looking like the MCU. It's like kind of, okay, we're just going with what works with Deadpool. I thought that was really it really was a great sign, you know. And we haven't even got it. Like, we know we're gonna get that moment where Wolverine's like, oh, he's like asking to help him up, and Wolverine's gonna stab him in the freaking chest and lift him up. You know, that's gonna be the iconic like moment that we've seen that hasn't even been publicly available yet. You know, that's just like the action scenes. I think we really have only gotten a sliver of the taste, and that alongside the cameos, I think this is going to be, it's setting up for an amazing tease. It was an amazing tease for a pretty special movie, maybe.
Yeah. No, I think overall for me, the takeaway here is that, Doc, you mentioned about sending a message, Disney like messaging, right? I think this was like Disney, Marvel assuring the audience here that everything is fine with this IP. That, hey, even though we have a new director, we're adding all these cameos and everything to Deadpool. Like, still, like, and we're coming under the Disney umbrella. Like, right off the bat, we learn, nope, this is gonna be raunchy. This is gonna be rated R. And we know we're taking delicate care. We're gonna have the same Deadpool action sequences, maybe to another level. And we're still gonna have Marvel connectivity, TVA, and also, guess what? A lot of the movies recently that have flopped, it's because, it's like, what's the path of the MCU? Boom, we're starting to get inklings, hints of a potential path here to Secret Wars. So, in all, I think the takeaway here is that Marvel is just assuring us, like, hey, everything's fine. We've had a couple blips, pun not intended, and we're getting back on track. Now, are we back? Again, I think we're back on the tracks. I don't think we're back, but this was a great trailer and a great, huge step in the right direction for Marvel, one that we haven't gotten in a long time.